Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan. Welcome back to The Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm a Blacksmith. We're going to be talking about blacksmith butchers and how to make this one to help me make this anvil stake. Okay, so the next video that will be out is about this anvil stake. I'll talk more about that at the end, but in this video we're going to go over how to make in quite a bit of detail this butcher. We have used it to make this, obviously, that's why I made it, and I spoke about what these are for and how to use them. Enjoy the video and I'll see you on the other side. This we're using a piece of forklift truck tine. This is a piece of 125mm long, or 5 inches by 25 by 35, or inch by inch and a half. I've marked, that's about an inch and a half in. Yeah, an inch and a half, an inch and a quarter down from one end. This is going to become our striking end. This is going to be where we're going to put the eye, and then this end is going to become the butcher. I've marked on both sides, and I've only done the one side because I'm going to be able to find that with the back of the hammer eye punch. Right, I'm going to stick this in the fire, get this hot, and I'll see you in a second. So I'm not quite up to a forging temperature. I'm just going to use a slightly lower heat just to mark up the position for the hammer eye. I like to use a flat-ended punch because I feel it shears the eye off nicer. That's just a preference. If you're using one of these pointed ones on the end, that's pretty cool as well. I've seen people cut them to very sharp blades as well. That's pretty cool too. So whatever floats your boat. So I'm using a combination of linseed oil, and graphite, that I've, that I've mixed together in an old, beeswax tin, some of the beeswax is mixed in there, and it makes quite a nice lubricant. So, hammer eye drift, I'm going to start getting this, and it's going to go in wonky because I've punched a hole on the one, because I am rushing a touch. So we're through. It's really important to set your drifts up so that they match the profile of your hammer eye punch. I can't explain how much easier it makes your life if you do that. Let's get this off of here. Now back in the fire it goes. Because I've started to draw out the cheeks and I don't want the cheeks to go back in, I'm having to come down to this swage block. I mean, if you had a larger, if you had a larger hardy hole, which I don't have on this anvil, you would be able to do this for a little bit longer before the cheeks start getting in the way. So I'm going to get the hole again, drive the drift back through, pull the cheeks out, and keep working this until these cheeks are flush with the original shape of the starting stock. way. So I'm just going to, actually I'm just going to come there, yep. Just going to start bringing out, this is going to be the striking end, yep. 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 Normally I do this the other way round, but so you guys can see on the camera. Yep. I'm doing it this way, so I'm holding this with my right hand. Normally I hold with my left. Yep. 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 Still got a bit more forging to do on this, but what I've done is I've cut this off about 45, 35-ish degrees. It's not important, just as long as you've got a square 90-degree side on one end, and then you can basically use that to get your nice clean cut. Right, I'm going to get this back in the fire. Me and Luke are going to draw this down a little bit more and put a touch mark in it and then normalise it. Yep. 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 One more. Okay, I've just done a little bit of simple grinding on this, and I'll go over what I've done in just a minute. But what I'm going to do first, before I do any more grinding or anything on it, is just normalise it and then heat treat it. To normalise it, I'm just going to put him into the fire, and I'm going to bring him up just above critical temperature, so just above the 724 degrees Celsius. I can't remember what that is in American, but I'll put it up somewhere on the screen in Fahrenheit, and then let it cool down very slowly. I'm now going to heat treat the butcher. To do this, I'm going to place the sort of the blade end, or the fuller end, into the fire. I'm going to bring that up to a critical temperature, or just over at least. I'm going to check that with a magnet, so when it gets up to somewhere around about 724 degrees to 815, I think it is for boron, which is what forklift truck tying is normally made out of, or hard ox sometimes. Once it gets to that temperature, I'm then going to take it and I'm going to quench it in used motor oil. I get a lot of stick about using used motor oil. I believe that the quenching oils you can buy, the very thin quenching oils that you can buy from blacksmith supplies, they're a mineral based oil themselves. If you don't want to use motor oil, you can use a linseed oil or a vegetable oil or something like that. They work all just as well as each other. I just like the black finish it gives. So yeah, I'm just making a bit of Gucci, that's all. I'm not going to heat the whole hammer up to quench it. I'm just going to heat the end up that I want to be hard. Just polished up the cutting face, or fullering face, depending on what you want to call it, and this back end. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to place the rear. Oh, going to place the rear end of this butcher in the fire. I'm going to leave this piece exposed, and I'm just going to let the temper colours come through, and once that's happened I'll quench it off. I need to be careful that I don't quench it when the other end of the the other end of the butcher is red. There is a chance I can heat treat the other end accidentally. I don't want to do that, so we'll just give this a bit of time, and we're going to quench it in water. Okay, so this is our material, and say we wanted to cut it with a chisel. You'd have your chisel, the sides of your chisel, and then you'd have the tip where the blade is, like so. And that's what would clear material out. As you can see, you've got a 45 there and a 45 there, or 30 or whatever it is. It's probably 30 degrees here. It's probably 30 degrees. Oh, it's probably across the whole thing as well. In that position there. But that's not what we're looking to achieve with our butcher. In fact, if I put our material back together, what we're trying to achieve is more of a fullering action that leaves us with a 90. And quite often they're round. I've rounded mine, or in this video, the one that I make will be rounded at the end. It's not like a big radius fullers. It's like 1 or 2 mil radius on the end there, but it's going to leave us a cut that's this shape. And the reason for this is it isolates a chunk of material off so that you can then turn this into a set down. So you'd forge that piece of material out of the way, and you'd end up with something that looks more like that. And that's the reason for the 90 degree or for the right angled triangle that we have shape. That's more of a rhombus. That's for the reason for the right angle triangle shape we have, so that we can get this square edge. That allows us to develop a tenon. And you'll see a lot when I'm forging and making stuff on the fly press that I use a set of double butchers. Then there's no, well, it's just harder to line up butchers on the anvil, and it's a lot easier under a fly press using a blacksmith's helper to set up a set of butchers, and it will give you the ability to create something more like that, a tenon, which me and Luke will be doing very shortly when we make ourselves a little anvil. This isn't as nice as it was when I made it the other day because we've used it, and we used it quite hard. This is a piece of fork truck tine on the top here that we butchered quite deep into using this. You will see that in the next video. It took me and Elliot about 3.5 hours to make this the other day. I'm not quite finished. I need to polish this bit. I think I'm going to probably have to harden it as well. But that's something that I'm going to do tomorrow, probably, if I get some time. So yeah, you may have seen some images of this and it wasn't as pretty as it was when I finished it. Also, I haven't had a chance yet to get round to sorting the handle out. But nevertheless, it turned out lovely and the butcher worked really well. It stayed on this rod really easily, to be honest with you. So that was really good. Yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you so much for joining me. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications because it'll let you know every time I make a video. I make videos as often as possible, normally about twice a week, sometimes 3, 4, depends on what we've got on and how I get on. Every now and then I do a live. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the butcher. Hopefully the examples that I gave throughout the video on how to make it were cut nice and clear and everything, and they were helpful. That's everything. So I will leave a link up here to a video of me making some other kind of tooling. I'll leave another link down here to a different video of some other tools. This is my Patreon, a great way to support the channel, and this down here is the subscribe button. Oh, and t-shirts are coming real soon.